Hello and welcome to Antinatalism This Week. There are a lot of events happening around antinatalism this week, so let's get on. David Benatar will be talking about the badness of death for animals at the Center of Ethics, University of Toronto, Canada. It is on Monday, 27th of January from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., and I presume that's Canadian time. It's an interesting topic. The badness of death, which David Benatar is referring to here, is not about the process of dying, but about death itself. And he says that once we understand the various reasons why death is bad for humans, we must reach the conclusion that while death is not equally bad for all, how bad it is does not need to track the human non human divide. In other words, if death is bad for humans, it is not necessary that just because other animals are not humans, it would not be bad for them. This is an in person event, so I'm not sure if we'll be lucky to get a recording, but if you are around that area and happen to attend the event, then please help the rest of us know how it was. Masahiro Morioka will be talking about antinatalism in Taipei International Book Fair in Taipei, Taiwan, with someone called Super Y. Super Y, also called as Super Y Cinema, is a YouTube channel who makes videos in Chinese language. It's a significant channel with over 470,000 subscribers. He had made a video in June last year about antinatalism and the philosophy of life, David Benatar, the Buddha, Schopenhauer, and Nietzsche. That video has now got almost 200,000 views, and to celebrate that, he'll be talking to Dr. Masahiro Morioka. The event is on 5th of February 2025 from 4:45 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. and this, I think, is Taiwan time. Looking at the description, the conversation seems directly on the topic of antinatalism and also on dropping fertility rates in Taiwan. The only confusing part is the last line. It is translated into English to say, in order to let more Taiwanese readers, especially young readers, find the courage to fight against the anti-birth wave and rethink the meaning of life through the author's knowledge and sharing, which sounds like a pro-natalist sentence, or it might have got lost in translation. I don't know. Anyway, on his channel, Super Y has invited to ask any questions you may have for Dr. Masahiro Morioka, and the conversation will be recorded and then will be uploaded for later viewing. It will happen in Chinese and Japanese language. I will include the link to both the YouTube channel page and the Facebook page of the event in the description. Talking of Masahiro Morioka, 6th International Conference of Meaning in Life took place in June 2024 at the University of Liverpool. Selected papers from that conference have been published as a book. It is edited by Michael Hauskeller with cover design by Masahiro Morioka. The topics covered are on the screen. They mainly cover areas like nihilism, pessimism, and meaning. David Benatar and his concepts of terrestrial and cosmic meaning are also referred at various places. Sentience and Beyond, a representative interview with Peter Singer AI. This is a research article on Cambridge Quarterly of Healthcare Ethics, which was published recently. If you watch this channel regularly, you would already know Mati Hairi, who is a learned philosopher, among other things, and has done a lot of work on ethics and antinatalism. Peter Singer, who is the famous utilitarian philosopher, now has an AI version, petersinger.ai. Mati interviewed Peter Singer's AI on complex topics of sentience, doing scientific research, using sentient beings, and also some antinatalist topics and veganism. Later on, the real Peter Singer provided some insights about this conversation with his AI. This was interesting because it was a philosophical discussion among three or at least two and a half philosophers and involved both AI version and real Peter Singer at the same time. So thanks to Mati for doing this, and also to Sankalp Ghosh, who is actually the creator of Peter Singer AI. Antinatalist Bioethics in the Future of Humanity is a new 3-year project started this month and will go on until 2028 at the University of Information Technology and Management in Poland. I'm told that this will be carried out by Konrad Sojik, who has written about antinatalism in the past, and we have covered some of his work on this channel as well. This project is to show why it is worth paying more attention to antinatalism in bioethics and what consequences it can bring to bioethics, and how antinatalist bioethics can be implemented into the philosophy, ethics, and bioethics of space exploration. Given that there is so much hype around going to Mars these days, this seems a very relevant and necessary project. We will be waiting for its outcomes in 2028. Dialectics of Extinction, From Freud to Antinatalism, is a lecture scheduled for 5th of February 2025 at the University of Manchester, England. This is by the author of the recently published book On Extinction, Beginning Again at the End, Ben Ware. From the book and his previous talks, we know that Ben is a left-leaning pro-environmental philosopher who does not agree with antinatalism. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say in this lecture. I have written to him asking whether the lecture will be recorded and whether we can attend it online, and I'm still waiting for his reply. There was a paper called Ethical Unthinkables and Philosophical Seriousness by Sami Filstrom. In that, Sami argued that some claims are so unthinkable that even if you might have good arguments for them, we should not take them seriously. We should not accept them or even discuss against them. We should just not think about them because they are unthinkable. This is against the usual notion of letting best argument win. To prove her point, Sami uses the case study of David Benatar's antinatalism. This paper is from 2009, so that's not the news. The news is that Kane B made a video responding to Sami's claim. Kane B is a very good philosophical channel and recently crossed 60,000 subscribers, so congratulations to him. In this video, Kane explains the reasons for Sami's claim and then explains why antinatalism is not unthinkable. He also explores other unthinkable examples like torturing children for fun is good. But then he proves it is not the correct example for unthinkable because there have to be good arguments for such a claim to prove Sami's point. But there aren't many good arguments for the claim that torturing children for fun is good. Another problem is cultural dogmatism. Kane takes homosexuality as an example, which was unthinkable 200 years ago. If Sami's approach had to be accepted, we would not have made the progress that we have. Lastly, he presents a paradox in Sami's framing. According to Sami, if the concept is unthinkable, then we ought not to argue both for and against it. We should not just think about it. To explain this, she takes an example of antinatalism and in the process gives a good amount of thought to antinatalism. Jihun Huang was a young philosopher who said that antinatalism leads to pro-mortalism, and so he took his own life in line with his views of ethics. But before that, he wrote a paper, Why It Is Always Better to Cease to Exist. There is a new video explaining the ideas in this paper in Indonesian language. I translated the transcript in English, so what I'm saying might not all be accurate, but it is still interesting to watch. Matti Hari gave a presentation at annual colloquium of the Philosophical Society of Finland. He talked on flirtations with human extinction in 20th century utilitarianism. Looking at the abstract, the discussion was of course around human extinction, but also historical records of how red button scenarios were looked upon and its relation to negative utilitarianism. I've been told that Matti will be making a video of this presentation on the Exploring Antinatalism podcast soon, so looking forward to it. Shiny Happy Single, Celebrating the Joy of Independent Child-Free Lives is not exactly an antinatalist book as it focuses more on being single but includes not having children as one of the aspects. The book will be published by Bloomsbury in June this year and it is available to pre-order right now on their website bloomsbury.com. In the book, Lucy Magazine presents a hypothesis that being single is an equally valid life path as any other, equal in the good bits and equal in the bad. Being single and not having children is quite simply different. It lends itself to different highs and different lows, different joys and different sorrows. It is not a lesser path, but the world still believes that it is. She covers many aspects of this lifestyle like living alone, financial side, sex life, friendship, etc., including that of not having kids. So yeah, not exactly an antinatalist book, but still might be interesting for more practical aspects for some antinatalists. Another upcoming book on Bloomsbury, but on a little darker side, is Death Activism by Patricia McCormack. It will be published on 6th of February 2025. In the book, Patricia McCormack explores how we can develop a death activism, a variety of tactics and post-human practices which celebrate death and its inevitability. She further says, crucial to foundation of death activism is the dissymmetry with which different deaths are met, including the mass death of non-human animals and ecologies. In the book, she covers some unconventional aspects of death like romanticized fascination and fear of death, the mourning of death, denial of the right to die, large-scale deaths of other animals, and zombies and goth culture in relation to death. This book is also not directly on antinatalism because antinatalism is about not starting a new life, whereas death is about ending an existing one. But there are at least two connections, one which bolsters the essence of antinatalism and the other one which undermines it. You see, if non-existence is preferable to existence and if death is something that is good instead of bad, I mean Patricia is providing tactics to celebrate death, then death can become preferable, especially if the things like right to die become realized, then we can say that okay, you didn't consent to come here, but you have a way out. On the other hand, it undermines antinatalism in the sense that one of the reasons why life is bad is that death is bad for the one who already exists, or at least the process of dying. And if either that process or the fact of dying is to be celebrated, then this argument is weakened and pronatalists can use it to have more children. Anyways, looking forward to these new books.